Once again, my mother Josephine Fitzgibbon, sitting here, 81 years of age, dealing with her 5th Christmas without her own home again. She deserves a Christmas miracle. She has been through hell and back and still is. All she wanted was to build a home for her retirement, and it turned into the biggest nightmare and disaster you could ever imagine, with everyone's lies and negligence. Why? Her rights of justice have been denied. Everything that has happened to her goes against public policy and humanity and duty of care. All this nightmare could have and should have never have happened. Liverpool Council is one of the main causes. They passed her DA plans with no surveyor on them. Spoke to planning, wrote to planning regarding DA being wrong. No response to last letter. No surveyor on DA plans, documents added to the file and much more. This is proof of postal notice received. DA should have been revoked and stopped there and then, to stop any further building and stop all this from getting to the point that it did. My mother was put into the CTTT fair trading due to disputes with builder by a worker, not by the sole owner, for non-payment for a property with no legally correct DA, no surveyor on plans, no legal finance and more. No building should have started. The builder had never had the right to be on my mother's land. In the first place, a worker of the building company called my mother Josephine Fitzgibbon to come and sign the contract without council approval or no finance at all. Approximately 1 month later, then called her up to sign a deed of guarantee paperwork. A builder can't draw this up. You can't have a deed for a building contract. You have a loan agreement. Under the Home Building Act, you can't ask someone else for the money. That's why you don't have a deed. My mother did not have this knowledge at the time. After the fact, she found out about all these lies. The CTTT made an order for a claim made by a worker, not the sole owner. They answered a letter about the deed prior to the hearing. They knew about it. This was also mentioned at the hearing. Why did they keep hearing the case? The CTTT had no right to do this. They were also told the worker was not the sole owner at the hearing. They should have voided the case but didn't. Because of CTTT's wrong order on my mother, this pursued into a writ wrongfully. This was done wrong. My mother had sheriff calling cards left and was frantic with worry. She should have never have gone through this. This then required to engage lawyers again, but had lawyers before this, with information about deeds and finance. The last lawyer kept saying, "How much do you want to pay the builder?" Never told my mother her rights. His duty as a lawyer is to inform any court of any wrongdoing, which he never did. Lawyers take an oath, don't they? He kept the writ on my mother for 6 months instead of putting this into court properly and doing the right thing by her, also knowing she was so ill. It came to the point she was blindsided with worry and illness. The lawyers said the builder's next step was to take her land. My mother did settlement paperwork that she never understood to pay the builder. The owner never took her to the CTTT, it was a worker. My mother didn't owe any money. The lawyer never fought for my mother's, Josephine Fitzgibbon's, justice, rights of justice. How could they do this to her and why? My mother needs her rights to be rectified. My mother tries to put on a brave face, but enough is enough. She has so many health problems and should never have to put up with this anymore. The lawyers and builder have sent her broke and took her pension and savings. She has a half-built house that cost her money. The council keeps taking rate money. She also takes water rates. She has to pay fence hire and lawn maintenance. Has a half-built money pit. What's the answer, Liverpool Council? CTTT lawyers, for what you've done. Have you any remorse or code of ethics? This is a public outcry. She is suffering, and this needs to stop now. Josephine Fitzgibbon needs a home for her health and human rights of justice. We are demanding that my mother's human rights are fixed. So Premier Gladys Berejiklian, we need you to act now. This needs your urgent attention now. These are your state government departments that have done this. And Attorney General Mark Speakman, we want you to act now as well. My mother Josephine Fitzgibbon has a public record against her for something she hasn't done. This needs to be fixed now. You can't leave her like this, Premier Gladys Berejiklian. My mother has no trust in lawyers anymore. All they did was take her pension and rights away. You need to act and help my mother now. Don't think anyone has ever gone through this ever before. Never heard of this before. This is just major extreme injustice. My mother is also asking you, Channel 7, or any other media, for your help. And to you again, Premier Gladys Berejiklian, you need to act now. You have a duty of care. So Josephine Fitzgibbon, an 81-year-old, gets her rights and justice. This is owed to her for what she has suffered and endured wrongfully. She needs to be majorly compensated. Everyone, please help her. Do the right thing.
I need help now. I want compensation for this, and I mean I need help urgently. I want help. Help me. Please.